Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Rockwood number 325-10BE. This is a latch protector. They say that it's cast, and they indicate the base material to be cast bronze, and the fact that the 325 is made in satin chrome, oil rubbed bronze equivalent, and prime coat. It's non-ferrous. Based on looking at this, it does appear to be absolutely cast. So it must be a powder. This 10B is a powder coat. This 10BE, forgive me, is a powder coat. So this must be referring to the fact that we're dealing with a powder coated solid piece of architectural bronze base material. They're certainly not light. They weigh about 0.9 pound each. So they're definitely a heavy piece of equipment. And, of course, being Rockwood, since we're talking about finishes, they could powder coat this black as well. I think they can powder coat white and even red. I've seen references to that, to those other colors in that, in red and white for their poles, so there'd be no reason they couldn't powder coat this. Now, this is a very attractive design. They indicate that it is a clean, aesthetic design with no exposed fasteners. Absolutely. It certainly is. You're not going to see much of this. You know, you're not really going to notice this. This is almost mid-century, aesthetic, by the very virtue of how it looks. But it's a very smart astragal as well, in the sense that it has the offset that's going to be necessary for a door inset, and it has a recessed area back here that ought to be able to adequately accommodate the lip of your strike. So in a very clean latch guard, a very clean, narrow latch guard, you really get everything that you need. In terms of the door inset and then this recessed area. So let's talk about the door inset. A hollow metal door, I should say, is never flush with the outside face of the frame. Flush conditions exist in aluminum storefront. That's very common. So be mindful of that. This already has an accommodation for a door inset. If you're doing a flush installation, this will certainly still work. You're just going to have a bit of a margin between the backside of this part of the latch guard and your aluminum storefront. That inset area ought to be about 3/32 of an inch. And according to my caliper, it's 0.093. So yeah, 3/32 of an inch. That would accommodate very well. The depth of the recess, about 0.09 as well. So, you might need to modify your strike lip a little bit in order to get it to fit in there. You very likely will need to, but nonetheless, it has that recessed area. If it was just flat there, that would be a complete no-go in most instances, because the strike lip needs to project from the face of the frame a little bit. Let's take some other dimensional properties. Overall width, about 1 7/8 inches. This inside area is 1.5 inches. The overall length, 9.5 inches. The clear area where it's cut back of that 1.5 inches is 7.5 inches. So that would certainly accommodate lots of different types of trim that would be appropriate, maybe for an escutcheon of a mortise lock. The distance from the recessed area to where that inset starts looks like it's 1 inch. So you can determine if you've got 1 inch of space from your trim over to where the door edge is going to be, if this is going to work for you. Center to center of the screw holes, just for the sake of taking the dimension, looks like it's 8.5 inches. Okay. Includes through bolts that are through bolt length. It's about 1 1/3 what is that, 1.75 inches, right? Yeah, 1.75 inches. 2 bolts, 2 through bolts are included. It includes the SP. This part number would actually be SP1005 for the finish washer. That bolt would be an SP1004, but you'd have to specify the shorter length. So the underside of that head, you know, to the end of the bolt, I'm sorry, I'll just measure it here, about 1.5 inches. The projection of the stud off the back that you'll have to drill into the door, well, that's 3/8 or so. So you'll have room to be able to get that threaded in into an 1.75 inch thick door. If you have an unusual door thickness, let us know. Order the next longest piece or pieces and simply indicate in the comment field the door thickness. If it's thinner, that's not going to be a problem. There might be a small additional charge if it is thicker, like 2 1/4. Boy, that bolt is right on the money there, that's for sure. Yeah, I've got it certainly threaded in. I can't say that I've got it threaded in very much. About 3 revolutions. I'd like that bolt to be slightly longer, at least 3/16 longer. But nonetheless, it works for an 1.75 inch thick door. 1/4 is that thread size. There is a link below this video to a document called Template that will allow you to review the dimensional properties of the unit as we have discussed. They do want you to counterbore 2 7/32 of an inch holes, 7/16 on the outside only. If you're doing a wood door, sure, you don't have to drill that 7/16 very deep. And my caliper tells me 0.498, so a bit heavy on 7/16. Then the projection of that, yeah, we already took that, 90 thousandths, okay? So you'll drill a larger hole on the outside to fit it, then you're, you know, basically a 5/16 hole I think would be really nice to drill for the bolts, the 1/4 going through, okay? The outside diameter of your finish washer will certainly be adequate to cover the size of the bolt that you drill through there. Now, there's also a link below this video to the product brochure that will allow you to review the associated or sister products when it comes to latch protectors from Rockwood. Looking at that sheet, the 320 series, that's obviously the most common design. And, you know, in essence, it's doing this job. This job is doing the 320 job. The advantage of the 320 family is it has that anti-spread pin. That's the single, what looks like the head of a bolt on the right-hand side. So if someone tried to place a bar between the door and the frame and spread that open to bow the frame, to simply pull the door open, that would seek to defeat that attack. Your 321, your 322, those are common as well. The 330 is not uncommon, just sold some of those. And the 325 actually is the least common of all of them that we sell, and I'm not exactly sure why that's the case. I would absolutely seek to use that model in all instances because just of its attractiveness. I think why people might steer away from it is because it is noticeably more expensive than any other models. It's made of solid bronze, so it's not, you know, you're paying for the base material. And in fact, if you are looking for, you know, if you're looking to get the look, you do have to go with, you know, cost being directly related to the desirability sometimes of certain products. Very smartly designed item, very classic sort of design. I certainly have seen latch protectors. You're not going to see a library, and I've seen latch protectors in libraries to protect an area housing rare books, maps, things of that nature. They're going to have latch protectors on those locks. They are certainly not going to slap a 320 onto the library of a major municipality that is storing what are basically irreplaceable works. So you're going to see a little nicer latch protector in those instances. Finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Rockwood products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Rockwood number 325 in a US 10BE finish or any other Rockwood product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.